your clients are outside of Mexican
Yes.
soil, and actually your company is open outside of Mexico, but you reside for some time, say for 5 months in Mexico. Should I pay taxes? Would it be double taxation because I need to pay taxes in my home?
That is just as
To
complicated.
leave it for the next.
You really have to answer four things.
Yeah.
So write these first of all. Where am I? Where is my income generated? What is my tax base? And who am I paying to? Oh, if you answer these four questions, you really have a good notion of what your tax situation is worldwide. So, for example, if you live in Mexico below 183 days, technically you are a tourist and you're not considered a tax resident. Now, however, if most of your money is made through Mexico, not in Mexico, but through Mexico. So, for example, you got your workforce here, maybe you have a branch office here, maybe you have most of your clients in Mexico. That is income that's generated from a Mexican source. And that makes you a tax resident in return. So, it's not only about if you live here or not, but whether you run your business from here and if most of the money that you make is made within Mexico. Those things have to be taken into account. The second is, well, where is your business at? Now, this question is easier said than done because there's a lot of global businesses and a lot of entrepreneurs travel a lot these days. But generally, that's considered the entity in which the country was created from and where your bank's accounts are, right? So most of the case, it's a US LLC with a bank account in the US. And so we might consider that although the income is generated globally, it is a US entity. Um, so the third thing that you have to answer is who do I pay to? Right. Because maybe I live here, maybe I spend a couple of weeks here, a couple of months even here, and I'm running my business from my laptop, sending a bunch of emails and having a bunch of calls. But, I'm not generating my income here. Well, if you're considered a tax resident, Mexico has a global taxation system, meaning that it doesn't matter where your income is generated. It matters that if you are administering your business from Mexico, you have to pay taxes to Mexico. Now, the good news is that double taxation is very rare in Mexico because Mexico has signed a lot of treaties with a ton of countries from the OECD regarding double taxation and exchange of information, which means that what you have to take into account is, well, if my business and most of its income, it's, let's say, comes from Spain or from France, right? And I live here and I am administering my businesses in Spain. Well, we have a taxation treaty with Spain that specifically says that if the resident is here, but the income is generated there, exactly half of the pre-established tax rate is applied to the country to Mexico, and the other half is applied to Spain. So, for example, let's say that according to your income levels, 20% of your income of that business you're going to be paying in taxes. Half of that, according to this treaty, half of that is going to go to Mexico, and half of that is going to go to Spain. In some cases, all of it is going to go to Spain. In some cases, all of it is going to go to Mexico. You really have to check the treaties because they're different types of economic activities at different types of income are taxated in a different way. Now, of course, this usually is very boring and very hard for a lot of our clients. They want certainty. And so the good thing that we offer is we combine international taxation consulting with local accounting practices, which means we're able to generate very precise and very low tax returns in Mexico for international clients that really want to optimize or streamline their tax here in Mexico. But yeah, I think that the answer in tax is really it depends. However, I will say there's good news in this, and I will end up in this. If you're running a business that's making less than 3.5 million pesos a year, or if you as an individual are making the equivalent of less than 3.5 million pesos a year in Mexico, you can apply for the new kid on the block, which is this new tax scheme that is called Reciclo. It's a new tax regime that's called Régimen Simplificado de Confianza, simplified tax regime, right? And it's basically one of the lowest tax regimes in the OECD, and it's here in Mexico. And you can pay up to 5%, only 5% of all your income if it's within that range of 3.5 million pesos. For most entrepreneurs, for most people who are running, a freelance business or an online business, they are going to be within that range because you are protected with all these tax treaties at an international level. What you could actually do is bring your business here, start paying taxes in Mexico with Reciclo, and you're only going to be paying 5%. And a lot of people think that's a great deal because
Yeah.
the business taxes in a lot of countries, such as Canada, such as in the European Union, for small businesses are above 20%, straight up. So I think it's a very competitive advantage. I don't see why a lot of our clients think, oh, I'm going to be paying taxes in my home country and I'm going to be paying taxes in Mexico. No, you should be paying taxes in Mexico. You shouldn't be scared of the Mexican tax authorities. You should embrace them because the rates that the Mexican law is offering right now are extremely competitive. And so I think that's a lot of reason actually why a lot of companies are moving into Mexico. The tax rates are considerably low if you manage to stay within that threshold of 3.5 million pesos per year.